Hey everybody, Corn-Fed Lady here, and today I'm going to take you inside and show you how to set up an incubator for incubating turkey eggs. Now the eggs that we're going to be using in our incubator come from these turkeys that we ordered last year. They're a rare heritage breed called blue slate turkeys. Okay, now I'm going to take you inside and show you how to set up that turkey incubator. Come on. So here we are in the house, and there's a couple of different models of incubators that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now normally I would like to use this incubator with the clear dome lid for incubating our chicken eggs, just because you can see them hatching a lot easier through the clear dome here. Now although this incubator does just fine for chicken eggs, you wouldn't want to necessarily use it for our turkey eggs, and I'll show you why. Okay, so I have 10 turkey eggs here in this little incubator, and if I go to put the dome cover on, you'll see there's not enough room. It's touching the eggs and it's not sealing all the way shut. Now if you tried to use this incubator like that, all of the heat and humidity would escape out of that crack. So this is going to be no good for our turkey eggs. Now here you'll see we found a substantially larger incubator model, and this one was actually at our local farm store, and you can see it's quite a bit taller than the other incubator. So when we go to load our turkey eggs, we have a substantial amount of overhead space. So as you can see here, they have plenty of room in there, and there's no worries about them hitting the top of this box. Now before I plug this in, we're going to have to take those eggs back out first, because when you set the temperature and humidity in here, you have to wait for it to reach a stabilized point. Usually takes about 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours, and then we'll put the eggs in when it's the right temperature and the right humidity. So I'm going to take these back out for now. Now let's get this incubator set up and ready for turkey eggs. First, you're going to want to keep a humidity level of 50 to 60%. So what that means is you're going to have to add water to your incubator. The amount of water is going to depend on what the readout of your humidity dial tells you. If it's less than 50 to 60%, you'll want to add more water. But if your humidity is more than 50 to 60%, you'll want to let some of that moist air out. The best way to do that is usually to open the lid. Now, of course, by opening the lid, you're also going to be letting heat out. So you don't want to let your humidity get too high and have to open the lid too often. A nice feature about this model is that it also includes some holes with some plugs that you can take out to allow some of that humid air to escape. Some of these I've taped over, and some of them came with plugs. You can see here I have the notes for how to hatch chickens in here. And the temperature is 100 degrees and the humidity is 50 to 60%. We're going to be doing the same thing for turkey eggs. We're going to set the temperature at 100 degrees and we're going to wait for that humidity to reach between 50 and 60% before we put the eggs in. Now there will be some changes for the last few days of incubation. This is notes for chicken hatching, but turkey hatching will be a little bit different, and I'll make a second part to this mini-series when it's time to put them in what's called lockdown, where we'll change out some of the setup of this incubation system. Alright, so we've already got our water in there for the humidity. Let's go ahead and plug it in so that we can get it up to temperature. Alright, so I've plugged it in, and you'll see there's a temperature readout on here now, and there's also a humidity readout. Hopefully you can see those. The temperature says 66 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what we keep it in our house, and the humidity is going up faster and faster. It was 60 something, I believe, now it's 80 something, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Alright, so we're going to give this machine about 12 to 24 hours to run, and then we're going to come back and check the temperature and the humidity and see if we can get it to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 50 to 60% humidity. Okay, so it's finally stabilized. For the last few hours, it's been at 100 degrees and 59% humidity. So I'm going to go ahead and load these eggs into the incubator, but I have to do it pretty quickly because I don't want all that heat and humidity to be released out of this dome. So when I take it off, I'm going to have to move quickly and put those eggs into the trays. And when you're loading your eggs in the trays, you want to make sure to put them with the pointy end facing downward. You also want to make sure that none of your eggs are touching each other or anything else. Okay, I'm going to set this camera down and we're going to get this incubator loaded. Alright, got all the eggs in there. Now one thing you do want to watch for that I noticed is those sensor cords inside the machine. You don't want them touching one of your eggs like it is right here. So I'm going to move these eggs that are near those sensors so that we don't have an issue. Okay, so now I've moved those eggs. The sensors are nowhere near any of the eggs. And that could be an issue if there was some moisture on an egg and it touched that sensor, or if the egg shell was a different temperature than the air temperature, it could throw off the sensor. So you want to make sure nothing's touching those sensors. Now after removing that lid, you can see the temperature dropped a little bit. It says 93.9 and the humidity says 31%. So we're going to have to watch, and those should go back up within the hour. Okay, it's been about a half an hour or so now, and the temperature is back up to 100 degrees, and the humidity is back up to 51%. So we're back in that range we want of about 100 degrees and 50 to 60% humidity. So we're going to let this incubator run for 25 more days at this setting, and we're going to add water as needed, probably every other day. That's generally what it's been for this incubator. And then after 25 days, we're going to go to a little bit different setting, which will be increasing the humidity and decreasing the temperature, and we'll be removing this tray, which is actually a turning tray in this model. It actually rotates the eggs slightly from side to side every couple of hours. Now, if you don't have a rotating tray, that's okay. You can just rotate the eggs by hand every 6 to 8 hours. Well, that does it for our incubator setup today. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on the upcoming hatch videos. Looks like we're figuring out the water and the heat now.